Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Cignal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as on facebook.com/OneNewsPH. And you can also watch on YouTube, One News PH. Okay, today is August 20, 2021. A shout out and happy birthday greeting to my dear brother, Ricky Beltran, and I hope that you are doing well. Anyway, it's a Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God it's a Friday. We made it to another Friday, and I do hope you have a happy weekend to look forward to in spite of our situation with COVID-19. Okay. Today we will have, as usual, a number of guests. But before we do that, let's first go to the front page of the Philippine Star. And there you go, MECQ for NCR until August 31. That's the banner headline of the Philippine Star. And on top of the front page, you have NTF or National Task Force wants to tap medical students as vaccinators. And the big picture on the front page of the Star is a church being utilized as a COVID treatment center. And that is just to highlight what's going on. But, you know, let's be thankful that the church and government are working together, the Department of Health working with the church, because, you know, that is actually hopeful. Kumbaga, saan ka pa lulugar? Ginagamot ka na, nakakapagdasal ka pa. And chances are, there will probably be masses offered there, because it just reminds me of the situation in Italy last year, where the church that was featured in a news item on cable TV was not about people being cured. It was a row of coffins. So, pasalamat tayo. Let's be thankful that in this picture of the Philippine Star, it is a church doubling up or being used as a treatment facility. Now, let's go to the second half or lower half of the Philippine Star front page. And there you go. Oops, sumobra ng konti. Paki-adjust, okay? 45 billion allotted for boosters in 2022. Okay, Philippines to focus on buying U.S. vaccines. Same status for Laguna and Bataan for COVID, and House set to resume sessions on Monday. And the forecast for the boxing bout this weekend, Pacman by KO, according to the Ugas. Buti na lang ugas. Huwag tayong magdadagdag ng enye. Okay, let's go to the stories behind the front page. Okay? Oh, there. Oh, meron pa pala. Sorry. Go back. Meron tayong the Olympic. Kasi, itaas. Hello. Yun. Olympic medalists receive new vehicles as reward. Yan. Okay. The Photon Corporation, the UAGI, sila Sitin Brothers, a company, have given vehicles to our Olympic medalists. Ayan. Okay, now let's go to the stories behind those headlines. Metro Manila and Laguna have been placed under the modified enhanced community quarantine from August 21 to 31. The IATF also approved putting Bataan under MECQ starting August 23. Malacanang said LGUs can still impose strict granular lockdowns to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Later, we will have Interior Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya to give us more information on this change of status for NCR, Bataan, and Laguna. Meanwhile, the government has earmarked 45 billion pesos for the purchase of COVID-19 booster shots under the proposed 2022 national budget. At least, pinaghahandaan na ngayon. Okay, hopefully, if the lower house and upper house of Congress approves that budget, we can actually hopefully put in the orders even before 2022. The health department has yet to approve the inoculation of booster shots to fully vaccinated persons, citing lack of data about their safety. Paano naman kayo magkakadata? Hindi naman kayo nag-experiment or nagtetest. You are relying on the findings of other countries. America and Israel in particular are already doing booster shots, not because of precaution, but necessity. And in sports, let's get ready to rumble this Sunday. Manny Pacquiao faces Cuban boxer Yordenis Ugas for the world welterweight title. While Pacman remains confident for himself, Ugas' camp believes the boxing icon no longer has the power to knock people out inside the ring. Pacquiao's last knockout win was versus Lucas Matthys of Argentina in 2018. For Cignal, for Cignal satellite subscribers, you can watch this fight via pay-per-view for only 750 pesos, commercial free. Ha? Kasi tayo po, marami tayong kilalang umaasa sa Facebook, sa YouTube. Ang problema, isang damukal. Ha? I don't know, I just find it so irritating. It's become one of my pet peeves. The amount of advertising that goes into Facebook and YouTube. You can barely watch anything without having to be exposed to at least 2 to 4 commercials. Okay? Yung commercial load ng television dati, 17 spots or 17 minutes yata or whatever per hour, yun sa Facebook, minuto merong advertisement. Okay, let's go for our word or quote of the day, and it comes from author Jonathan Harnish. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of the world, but those who fight and win battles that others do not know anything about. Medyo nag-iisip kayo, anong klase kayang mga tao yun? Well, let me point out, people who are fighting mental illness, people who are trying to survive domestic abuse, people or parents or husbands or breadwinners who are quietly trying to put together the money to feed their family, send their children to school, or pay the bills and not declare to the world their sacrifices, their struggles, and their battles. Meron din mga taong fighting cancer. And there are people who are just quietly trying to change the lives of others without telling the whole world that they are heroes. We don't, hindi po strength yung dahil meron kang posisyon, because you have authority or because you have the physical strength, astig ka na. Wala yun. Marami doon fake. Peke. Kumbaga, maingay lang, okay? But the people around you who are quietly trying to survive or just doing their jobs, kahit po yung mga nurse na humahawak lang ng kamay ng isang pasyenteng dying, that takes great strength. That takes great courage. Kasi alam niyo po, yung papanoorin niyo itong pasyenteng nakilala mo na, inalagaan mo, at unti-unting nauupo, slowly dying before your eyes, and all you can do is hold his cell phone or her cell phone so her husband, children, wife, daughter, son can see them. That takes great strength. So the strongest people are not those who show strength in front of the world, but those who fight and win battles that others do not know anything about. God bless them. And if you know anyone like that, whether it's your papa, your mama, your friend, give them a hug. And kung di naman, malayo, call them and tell them, this is something that is often done in the US to servicemen, yung mga sundalo. Pag dumaan, sasabihin ng mga tao, your service to the nation is greatly appreciated. Do that for these people who are quietly fighting battles that we do not know of. Okay, let's move on to our program today. President Duterte has decided to place Metro Manila and Laguna under a less stricter MECQ starting tomorrow until the end of the month. Meanwhile, the Department of the Interior Local Government says a web portal for unified vaccination certificates is set to launch next month. Ayoko namang maging pintasero, no? Pero parang, posible ba ito? Is this really possible? Because the unified, yung testing or contact tracing app, hindi ma-unify. Ito pa, what about this vaccination, Webvax? Ang tawag nila Webback something Tanungin na lang natin yung ating suki, kaibigan natin who really admire and appreciate Undersecretary John Malaya. Alam mo ba't ako natawa, Usec Malaya? Kasi alam ko, ikaw kumisa nagbubulot ka na ng buhok sa galit dahil dito sa mga unification yung pag-unify ng ating contact tracing app parang South Korea, North Korea unification. Good morning, Usec.
Yes, good morning, Sir Cito. Good morning po sa lahat ng ating mga taga-subaybay.
Okay, can you give us more information regarding this web-based vaccination certificate? Kasi medyo parang biglaang nag-iba na yung takbo.
Yes, actually, Sir Cito, this is a initiative of the DICT, no? At kami po ay tumutulong lamang, no? We're helping out the DICT and the Department of Health. Kasi the issuing authority based on WHO guidelines has to be the Ministry or Department of Health of every country. So it's the Bureau of Quarantine or the DOH who will be the one to issue these certificates. And yung DICT naman, they provide the technology for this. The DILG comes in by ensuring that the LGUs are the ones are ready to upload the names and the details of their vaccinees. Kasi the data of the vaccination, ang may hawak po niyan ay ang mga LGUs because they're the ones that vaccinate the people. So they have the list, they have kung anong brand yan, kung kailan yan, no? So they hold that data. They are the owners of the data. So what we requested the LGUs to do is to forward all of this data daily to a database, to a national database owned by the DICT, and they have developed this web portal already. Actually, Sir Cito, nasa beta test na. So meaning we're almost ready for public launch, no? I would rather the DICT make the announcement sa ito, no? But
pasensya ka na, Usec Malaya, no? And I'm being transparent. I will probably be able to get an interview with His Excellency President Rodrigo Duterte faster than I get anyone from DICT. I'm just putting that on record because we have tried time and again to invite them, to assist them, promote them, help them, pero lagi na lang decline or not available. So pasensya ka na, you're it. Ikaw lang ang aming naaasahan.
Yeah. So just to share what the DICT has been doing, we did the alpha testing July 31 to August 2, and we did the beta testing August 9, and it's ongoing with San Juan LGU and
Mhm.
Manila Pateros Taguig and Naga City Cebu. So beta test means we are testing the system. We have individuals from those areas who have been vaccinated. They try the system out. Tinitingnan
Mhm.
namin kung papasok yung vaccine certificate, kung na-upload ba yung kanilang record, no? Kung yung system actually produced the digital certificate, because the ultimate objective of the system, which is called VaxCert PH, no,
Mhm.
is once you have put in your data in this portal, you can immediately download already a PDF file of your VaxCert or
Mhm.
vaccination certificate with a QR code, and this
Mhm.
will be recognized by all countries, including Hong Kong, as defined by the World Health Organization. Because there's a worldwide protocol, that's
Mhm.
why DFA is also part of the technical working group. Para ang DFA naman bahala makipag-ugnayan sa ibang bansa that we have already launched this system. So malapit na po ito.
Okay.
We will probably launch this first in Metro Manila and then slowly expand to the rest of the country.
So what will happen is nagpabakuna tayo, the LGU or the inoculating authority is required by the DILG to submit it to the DICT, and the DICT is supposed to upload it into their system so that it now becomes accessible online through a QR code. Now, what is the time frame per specimen?
Okay, that's correct. So there's what is called as a line list. So the LGU has to upload this data of their vaccinees. Kailangan po tama yung pakalagay ng pangalan, no? So
Mhm.
isa kasi sa mga problema, no? Um, kung minsan mali yung spelling ng tao. Kasi pag mali yung spelling ng pangalan, that
Mhm.
immediately results in an error.
Yes.
So, ang aming guidance sa mga LGUs, and we're doing trainings as we speak, no, is kailangan ipakita sa tao yung kanyang datos, no? So, pagdating niya sa bakunahan, when he registers, ipapakita sa kanya, sir, tama ba yung spelling ng pangalan niyo? No, tama ba
Mhm.
yung birth of date niyo, no? And then, pag inokay na niyan, within the same day, that must be sent through to the DICT. And now the DICT puts it in this system. Now, if the data is correct, immediately, paglagay nung pangalan ng tao, when the vaccinee goes to the portal, paglagay niya kanyang mga datos, immediately lalabas yung kanyang vaccert. No, that's the target of the system itself. And as I said, nasa beta testing na tayo to let to inform us kung ano yung mga quirks at mga errors na usually nakikita. And isa sa mga nakikita namin, napagpapalit ng LGU yung date of birth, yung month
Mhm.
and day na pagpapalit niya, yung date ng vaccination na pagpapalit din niya yon. So we're telling them to improve the quality kasi alam niyo naman sa IT, no, garbage in,
Yeah.
garbage out. First, we have to ensure that the data is correct, it's encoded in the right manner and in the right process, so that hindi na mahirapan yung mga kababayan natin to get the vaccine from the portal.
Okay, now what are pasensya na, no, I don't want to be talking about penalties immediately, but you've been in the DILG long enough to know that some people parang yung kanilang their sense of priority is not the same as the sense of priority of Usec Malaya or Mr. Beltran, ano? What are the penalties if a certain LGU or officer fails to submit those information or those lists within ano ba ang longest time or na pwedeng 48 hours, 72 hours sa USEC?
Yes, kasi well, there's always two things kasi that can happen, no?
Mm.
When you go to the portal, immediately the vaccine comes out, no? But there's always the possibility na hindi na-upload or nagkamali ng encoding or
Mhm.
some other problem. For example, you were inoculated by a private facility. Di ba may mga private companies who are inoculating their employees because they went into a tripartite agreement and
Yes.
bought their own vaccines, no? Like Moderna for the Go Negosyo partners. So these companies, like SM for example, they have to report their list to the LGU. Okay? So kung minsan, the problem may be with the company itself. Or also, for example, the armed forces, they did their own vaccination.
Yeah.
So they should submit their list to the DICT, no? Kasi we cannot blame the DICT all the time or the LGU all the time. There are other moving parts in this
Yeah.
process. So meron tayong linagay doon sa system, the DICT devised this, wherein there's, if kung ang lalabas ay no record found,
Yeah.
or ang gagawin ay i-upload mo yung iyong vaccination card. So you upload a picture of your vaccination card and you upload a picture of your government-issued ID, and the call center of the DICT will send this to the LGU, and the LGU has 48 hours to improve or to make the necessary adjustment in the system. Because as I said, ang may-ari ng datos ay hindi naman DICT. Ang may-ari ng datos ay ang LGU, so only the LGU can make the corrections. So there's also an option na kung talaga nagmamadali yung tao, the individual can go to the LGU diretso na. And then ask for a certification. And that certification, nakalagay sa certification that we have already edited the entry, it has been corrected, i-upload nung tao dun sa VaxCert.ph portal, and then pag na-upload na doon, immediately issue yung vaccination certificate niya.
Will the DICT or the DILG for that matter issue or send out a confirmation or receipt or a confirmation receipt of data, etc., or a notice to the individuals vaccinated? Kumbaga parang, welcome to the world of the vaccinated, your data has been uploaded.
Okay, that's one thing that we have to consider also. Okay.
Pasensya ka na, Usec, kasi natuto na ako dito sa mga food delivery, ito sa mga Shopee, Lazada, at saka mga JRS Express. Kasi laging, that's how thorough they are, di ba? Pati
yes.
yung mga bangko na, okay, we have received payment, or you haven't paid us, when do you plan to pay us? Yung mga ganun ba?
Yeah.
It might be good also. I know it's more work.
Yeah, when the individual goes into the portal and then nagkaroon ng no record found or he makes a complaint or whatnot, at makakatanggap siya ng email or notification dun sa web portal itself that your complaint or your request for assistance has already been received, and we have forwarded it to LGU Quezon City or LGU Manila or whatnot, para alam mo yung period upon which you can wait for the action of the LGU. But again, let me emphasize here na madami itong moving parts, no? Madaming moving parts. So it can be the fault of the system. It can be the fault of the LGU itself. So alam mo naman, Sir Cito, no? Inakailan na ba tayo? Almost 30 million doses has been administered. Ang dami ng fully vaccinated, especially here in Metro Manila. So the DICT, the DILG, the DOH, we're really working to improve this system. And as I said, we are on beta testing now, and hopefully we can launch next month.
Okay, you mentioned the word system, and I'm wondering what sort of a system does the DICT have? And kung hindi mo alam, okay lang, no? Because you are with DILG. But if the system, what kind of system does the DICT have to upload all of this, process all of this, millions and millions of information, and how long before we are up to speed? Ika nga, kumbaga, kahit sino magpindot ng buton, lalabas na yung kanilang box card.
I don't know yung technical issues, no, Sir Cito, kasi hindi naman ako IT expert from the DICT, as you mentioned. But there's an entire team in the DICT working on this. No, it's led by Usec Manica Intake. And this team has been actually talagang may IATF resolution kasi na this must be online soon, no, very soon.
Yeah.
So we are working with them very closely, and right now we are in the training phase kasi we want to make sure that the LGUs get to upload the list immediately. Sabi ko nga when we were meeting, maganda kung on-site, no, kasi 'di ba bago umalis yung tao sa vaccination center, i-issuean siya ng vaccination card.
Yeah.
I was suggesting to them na right then and there, i-upload na yung datos ng tao sa DICT system kaysa meron pang back-end operation sa munisipyo kung saan kinukumpay lahat ng mga pangalan doon para maipadala in one fell swoop sa DICT. Sabi ko, if there's a way that we can do that para mas mabilis, mas maganda, para up to speed tayo. But
Kasi tama ka, Usec. You're very correct there because by the time ikaw na victim ka, so to speak, kasi you were an innocent bystander in the presentation of the vaccines when you had to be vaccinated. I had to go through 3, if not 4 listings until we were finally vaccinated. And in the vaccination area, you're registered, they upload you, and then they record the vial, the number of the vaccine vial, they vaccinate you, and they confirm. After confirming na na-vaccinate ka na, that's just one press of the button, and then send, diba? So
yes.
There should be no complication. You are so correct there.
Yeah, so we suggested that already to the DICT. Sa totoo lang, they are really they're devoted to this project. This is a very they understand that this is a very very important project, and the best minds of the DICT are into this project. In fact, malapit na rin namin matapos yung joint administrative order. There will be a JAW to be signed by the DILG, DICT, DOH, DFA, and other agencies that will implement this para the public can look at the rules and regulations in implementing this program. The JAW will be the guide na ano ba hindi sinusunod ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno. What are the commitments of each government agency towards the success of this program? Para alam natin who's accountable for what.
Okay, Usec Malaya, if you don't mind, we'll just go for a very quick break. And when we come back, I have questions already from foreigners as well as from Filipinos who have traveled with the yellow card, the Bureau of Quarantine card. Kasi parang, I think it's an issue of reconciliation, or do foreigners need to register with this VaxCert PH. We'll be right back with you, Usec. Please keep it here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and with us is Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya of the Department of Interior and Local Government. Okay, I hope he gets through. Okay, mukhang sumabit yung signal with Usec Malaya, but that's good news. Good news for the week. Okay, there we go. We now have the VaxCert PH, courtesy of the DICT, with valuable assistance of the DILG. Now, here's a question for you, Usec. What about the CDC cards given to Filipinos from the USA. Can they get a card proving that they are vaccinated? So kumbaga, kasi may mga tao, like my daughter, for instance, she went to the Netherlands, she was vaccinated because she's a student, so they'll give her a Dutch vax card. This person came from America, they got a CDC or whatever vax card. When they come to the Philippines, are they required to register with VaxCert PH, or do they continue carrying their own certificate? Kasi baka magkaroon na naman tayo ng issue of uniformity, Usec.
Yes, this is my understanding, no? I'm not an expert here, but based on the discussions we had at the technical working group, the government cannot certify as to the vaccination of an individual abroad. Kasi hindi naman tayo yung nagbakuna sa kanya. So his primary evidence for vaccination will be the card or the certificate issued by that country or by that entity. Sa atin, we can only certify those who were vaccinated through the Philippine government's vaccination program. So, for example, sa US ka na vaccinate ng Pfizer mo, then that is valid for your vaccination in the US. Pero yung datos mo naman sa Pilipinas, the Philippine government will issue your vaccination here. Kasi may mga ganun nag-vaccinate ng isang beses sa US, na-vaccinate ng isang beses sa Pilipinas. So, ang mangyayari, they will have two vaccination certificates issued by separate government entities.
Yung bang ating VaxCert, kasama na yung stamp of approval or certification of the World Health Organization? Because my concern is if inoculated ako with Sinovac. I think you're also Sinovac vaccine. Baka mamaya magpunta tayong dalawa, we both go to a EU country, and they might say, oh, that's just a piece of paper, you were vaccinated by the Chinese vaccine, you don't qualify. Have we coordinated with the WHO para masiguro na pag pinresent natin yung Vax card na yun, papapasukin?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have coordinated. In fact, as I mentioned earlier in the program, the Department of Foreign Affairs is a member of the TWG, and the DFA's role in this entire vaccination certificate, VaxCert PH program is to ensure that other countries recognize this. So in our discussions, there's always mention of WHO protocols and the issuing entities. Pero just to mention, Cito, about Sinovac, the European Union recognizes Sinovac as one because Sinovac was recognized by the WHO and given an emergency use authorization by the World Health Organization. So, for example, travelers going to the Netherlands, you mentioned the Netherlands, fully vaccinated individuals who were vaccinated with Sinovac are exempted from the quarantine rules of the Netherlands, primarily because yung Sinovac and other vaccines like Pfizer, Moderna, and all of that have passed the WHO EUA certification, and these are recognized by the European Union. So just to add to the discussion.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And last few minutes with you, Usec, quickly na lang po, if you don't mind, how do things change as far as the transition from ECQ to MECQ? Kami bang nandidini sa GCQ sa Lipa, makakatawid to Metro Manila, o yung mga nasa Metro Manila, yung kapatid kong may cancer na gustong umuwi dito, makakauwi ba dito?
Yeah, that's a good question, no, Sir Cito. Mainit-init pa kasi itong IATF resolution na ito. And I wasn't present in the meeting yesterday because I was in Laguna for the ayuda distribution. Yun naman yung tinututukan namin right now. But this is what I know. Instead of ECQ, we're going to MECQ, but the LGUs have the authority to impose granular lockdowns. So doon tayo tututok sa granular lockdowns. Focus tayo sa PDITR and the implementation of the minimum public health standards more intensified in the areas under MECQ. Deliveries lamang ang pwede sa mga areas under MECQ. Personal care services are still to be closed, and all religious gatherings are virtual. I will still have to clarify kung ano
Okay.
naman yung mga rules natin for interzonal travel.
Will the checkpoints remain, and does it mean that because we are in you are in MECQ, no more ayuda?
No, yes. Very clear. Patuloy po ang pamimigay ng ayuda natin, no? We even if Laguna will start to be under MECQ August 21 to 31, hindi titigil ang pamimigay ng ating ayuda. The ayuda distribution in Laguna already started the other day, and it will continue until maubos yung pondong ibinigay natin, which is around 3.4 billion from the national government. The same with Bataan, and of course the same with NCR. The change in the quarantine classification has no effect on the distribution of ayuda. Uubusin po natin yan hanggat maubos yung pondong ibinaba ng national government.
And what about the checkpoints?
The checkpoints, that's a good question, no? That's a good question, Sir Cito, no?
Kasi
confirmed.
alam ko, we're trying to go to granular na, hindi ba? Tsaka kasi, you know why I'm asking that, Usec? Ang daming namamatay na police officers eh. Medyo, kahit ano pang sentimiento natin, politically or whatever, I really feel bad for those policemen and policewomen who are dying in the line of duty because of COVID-19. Kaka-checkpoint ng kaka-checkpoint.
Yeah. But definitely, Sir Cito, I did not see anything from the IATF resolution about putting in a travel bubble. Hindi ko na nakita yung travel bubble. So, we imposed the checkpoints when we had the travel NCR plus travel bubble mga 3 weeks ago, and we intensified the checkpoints because of the imposition of ECQ. Nagdagdag tayo ng mga law enforcement checkpoints within the travel bubble. So since di ko na nakita yung mga limitations na yon, tingin ko magkakaroon tayo ng pagpabawas. At the very least, what I can confirm right now is magbabawas tayo ng mga checkpoints kasi wala na nga yung mga ganung klaseng restrictions doon sa latest IACT.
At saka kung pwede lang, ibigyan na lang natin ng mahabang tangkay yung ating mga pulis. No, I'm serious, Usec, no? Because this is supposed to be a highly contagious virus, and then we have the checkpoints that create long lines and a lot of concentration of people, and the poor police officer is going one by one. Kumbaga parang hindi na Russian roulette, parang certainty of infection na yung nangyayari. So perhaps it is a serious matter to discuss within the ILG and PNP how or what we are going to do to protect our policemen and women. Thank you very much, Usec John, as always.
Maraming salamat at mabuhay po kayo.
Okay, yan po si Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya, laging maaasahan, laging tumutulong at laging may tunay na balita, walang peke. Okay, now let's go to our next guest na talagang hinahanap ko because again, we want to have an update on all the vaccines, the medicines, the equipment that's being used against COVID-19 and still under restricted use, emergency use, authorization, etc., etc. Let's go to the Director General of the Food and Drug Administration, Director General Eric Domingo. Sir, good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning, Cito. Good morning, everybody.
Talagang pinapahanap kita because I'm anxious, or a lot of people are wondering what is the status of the vaccines, kailan ba magiging, ano man tawag ninyo doon, for commercial purposes, commercial purpose use, and then yung mga testing kits, etc. Because people are saying we've been vaccinating, as Jonathan Malaya pointed out, we vaccinated 30 million Filipinos with different vaccines, all of them under emergency use authorization. And I know that the FDA has a process, pero isn't 3 or 6 months long enough to determine whether we should transition from EUA to commercial purpose?
Yeah, full registration kasi or yun yung certificate of product registration, you can apply for that once the phase 3 clinical trials have been completed. Now, a lot of these vaccines that are being used now would end their phase 3 trials maybe November, December of this year. So we do foresee that several vaccines will be applying already for certificates of product registration or full licensing by the end of the year or siguro baka by early next year.
Okay, so pasensya ka na, nagkakabulol-bulol ako sa dami ng iniisip ko. November, December, chances are 1, 2, or 3 will apply for certificate of product registration. But isn't it moot and academic by this time? I know, kailangan mo ng test trials, etc. Pero, hello, naka-6 na buwan na tayo, 30 million na nabakunahan, pinagtatalunan pa po ba yan na Director General?
Oo, kailangan pa rin makomplete yung clinical trials kasi iba naman yung real world data na ginagawa natin. Iba yung controlled talaga na trial which was started early siguro late last year, no? So,
Okay.
yung mga subset ng mga trial patients na yun, sinusundan pa rin yan ng ating mga vaccine developers. And then they add the real world data to it. So, yung totoong safety data, of course, yung mga efficacy data, usually actually it takes about maybe 6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
But in this case, kasi ang daming kaso, tapos ang dami nang nagamit, mapapaiksi yan to 1 year. Kaya by end of the year, siguro na makakapag-register dyan. Pero
No.
mabilis na yon, hindi mabagal yon.
Okay, no, hindi naman tungkol sa FDA itong issue, Director, no? It's more for public education kasi. Given the situation, is this because it is the global standard? Are we under a global agreement or protocol to follow these procedures? Kumbaga, parang member ka ng United Nations, member ka ng WHO, hindi ka pwedeng lumabag dyan sa process na yan. Or ano ba ang dahilan na hindi natin pwedeng, is it a local law that a congressman might be able to fix?
No, it's global practice. No, we really do not license a product until all the clinical trials have been completed. Ngayon, panahon ng emergency, kaya natin siya ginagamit. No? Kaya emergency use authorization na kahit hindi pa completed yung clinical trial phase 3, pinapayagan na ng mga pamahalaan katulad natin na gamitin ang bakuna. But in general, I mean, worldwide and in every country, talagang we do not register a product until the trials have been completed. So, at hindi pa ginagamit, no? Pero ito,
Okay.
pinayagan na natin gamitin. Pero yung full registration once really comes after all of the trials have been completed.
Okay, so that's good to know. We are part of a community of nations, and we have to adhere to scientific practices. Ngayon, ang tanong kasi pinag-uusapan na itong booster shot. But in Israel, they're saying, hindi na ito booster shot. Necessity na ito kasi kahit na nagbakuna kami, namumroblema pa kami dito. So, who makes the decision? Who really makes the decision? Is it the DOH or is it the FDA that makes the decision whether we will be doing booster shots or not?
The DOH does that. They have their all experts panel and then they have their national immunization committee that decides, no? Kasi syempre ang FDA, ang binibigay lang po namin yung safety and efficacy, no? Binibigyan namin approval once nakita natin that the benefit outweighs the risk and that the product has good safety and efficacy profiles. Kaya lang yung
Okay.
paglalatag kasi ng programa, kailangan talagang DOH ang nag-iisip niyan kasi ang dami nilang bagay na kailangan i-consider Cito, no? Like the availability of the vaccines or when we started vaccinating. And of course, yung kung merong subpopulation na groups that who would benefit more from vaccines compared to another group that might be less vulnerable. So pagdating po doon, yung programa na ang nagdedesisyon kung paano i-distribute ang mga bakuna na available and who to give it to.
Okay, now, tungkol naman dun sa other related products, no? Like yung mga testing kits. Kasi the other day, may mga naaresto, 5 tao yata, doon pa sa barangay namin sa Kapitolyo sa Pasig. Ewan ko ba naman, doon pa nagkahulihan daw. Pero mabuti na lang, hindi drugs. Ang kaso, COVID testing kit. So we were kind of wondering, hinuhuli ng CIDG yung mga merong mga ganong kadaming testing kit. Marami-rami, 4.5 million yata raw yun eh. But the question is, since, pasensya na, I'm sincere in this question, Director General, since when has it become criminal to possess or to sell those testing kits? Kasi hindi mo naman sinasaksak sa katawan yan. Kumbaga para lang i-check kung may sakit yung tao o hindi.
Yeah, it's always been a criminal offense ang pagbebenta kung hindi ka licensed na distributor. Kasi like for example, ang drugstores nila-license ng FDA, ganun din po yung mga mga nagbebenta ng mga medical devices katulad po nito mga test kits. You have to be a licensed distributor, meaning you have the capability and the know-how you should know how to handle these things properly, how to dispense them, how to sell them. Kasi po kapag yung test kit halimbawa, hindi hinandle ng tama yan, nakalagay lamang sa bodega, hindi sumusunod sa tamang temperatura, sa tamang handling, tapos pinadala sa ospital, nagsasuffer yung accuracy ng mga test kits. So maaaring labas ka ng labas ng resulta na negative. Yun pala yung test kit, nabili mo sa naibilad yan. Katulad din po yan ng gamot, no, na if not handled properly, nasisira yung kanyang efficacy, nasisira yung kanyang active ingredients. It's very similar for this test kit. So yun lamang pong licensed na mga companies who know how to handle these products are allowed to sell them.
Okay, now, ito na naman, ang dami ko na naman tatanong. Who are allowed, how difficult is it to get permission or permit from the DFA? Kasi nakausap ko gabi yung beloved daughter ko eh. Sabi ko, oy, may pinadalan ka na ba ng Dutch government tong 2 libreng test kits? Because apparently, doon sa Holland, binibigay ng libre sa mga school, lalo na sa estudyante because they want to be sure that everybody self-checks before they go into a community. And sabi niya, no, I'll just go buy in the drugstore. And sabi ko, what are you talking about? Drugstore drugs? Sabi niya, Papa, it's available in the drugstore here. It's not like in the Philippines. Sorry, no, wala namang commentary sa FDA yun. Pero why don't we have that kind of a situation here where I can literally just go to Watson's and buy a test kit?
Yeah, well, in the Philippines, our test kits are approved. Kaya lang they have to be used by a medical professional. No? Pwedeng nurse, pwede po sa clinic. Pero yung mga self-test, wala pa po tayong mga self-test na approved dito sa Pilipinas.
Why
Kasi
is that? Pasensya na, Director General, no? Kasi maganda yung sinabi mo. Why are these test kits, self-test kits, not yet approved in the Philippines? Is it a question of the product or is it a question of, or is it because we insist that only professionals such as nurses can do it?
Because of the sensitivity of using it, you have to use it properly, and then of course the interpretation of the results, no? Kasi like for example, antibody test kits, it's not as simple of getting a negative or positive. If you get a positive, you should know how to interpret it. If it means an old cured treated disease or something that's active, di ba? Or something that it's due to the vaccine that you got it. So hindi kasi siya ganoon kasimple, no? Kaya sa atin ang atin po patakaran kapag mga diagnostic kits, kailangan po merong health professional na tutulong sa inyong gawin 'yon at saka siya po ay i-interpret ang resulta.
So hindi siya parang yung pregnancy test kasi I'm trying to think like the common person like a regular Filipino, parang sa kanila thinking nila pareho naman yan whether it's a saliva test, antigen, etc. lalabas dyan. Kasi actually I saw that yung tinira ko nung home service, nilagay doon sa parang slide and nagbiro nga ako, bakit? Buntis ba ako? nako, kasi nagpapalit daw ang color. What is the difference between a pregnancy test and an antigen or COVID self-test kit?
Well, a pregnancy test is classified as a low risk, low risk test kit. Kasi po malalaman nyo kung buntis kayo or hindi, no? Pero yung kasing COVID, it detects an infectious disease. So,
Okay.
mas may risk po siya, no? Kung mali ang interpretation, maaari kayong makahawa. Kung mali ang pagkakagawa, maaaring mali ang resulta. And they're not as accurate. For example, the instant test kits are not as accurate as the RT-PCRs, for example, being done in the laboratories. Kaya po talagang mas maingat lang tayo ng konti just because it's a high-risk disease.
Okay, ako po nililinaw ko mga kaibigan, pag nakita nyo ko, I am 2 months overweight. I am not 2 months pregnant kasi ako ay na-aksidente. Hindi ako nakalakad na isang buwan at kalahati. Anyway, Director General, what about the other medicines? Kasi recently, someone called me and said, Kuyang, may kakilala ka ba sa customs sa ganitong lugar? Sabi ko, ano na naman yan? Kasi yung gamot na which is popular, it is I think a very for emergency use authorization by the FDA, naharang daw sa customs, and then yung registered importer ay parang naiipit. Now, what is our current protocol for this emergency use medicines, yung bang mga remdesivir, leronlimab, etc. Hindi ko na sabihin yung pangdaga.
Opo, these are not registered here. So, kailangan po yung licensed importer, kumukuha siya ng import license from the FDA. So, if the patient, for example, has a compassionate special permit for it, we issue it to the hospital. And nagagamit po yun para mag-import. Pero kung nagkakaproblema, ibig sabihin lang po, hindi kompleto yung papeles niya. No? Baka baka nagpapasok sila ng lagpas dun sa order sa kanila or dun sa authorized sa kanila ng FDA. Kasi every time we give a permit, we put exactly how many they can bring in.
Yung compassionate use, it is per patient pa rin. Hindi siya yung pwede kang mag-stockpile dito para makat mo yung delivery time. Kasi I think that's the
we allow it. We allow it per hospital. Hospitals, for example, would ask for us ng compassionate special permit for 1,000 patients. Tapos, na lang nila i-report sa amin pag naubos na nila kung sino yung 1,000 patients na yon. So, pag nag-order sila sa company for 1,000 yon, and they can import that in bulk.
Okay, let's go for a quick break. DG, if you don't mind, maiksi lang to kasi ang ganda ng usapan natin. At least natututo yung mga tao tungkol sa mga ginagawa ninyo. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. I'd like to thank PLDT for the home fiber optic internet provision here kasi medyo kitang-kita. Biglang nag-iba yung quality. Okay, talagang maganda na. Lalo pang gumanda kasi pinalitan yung modem to a even better modem. Okay, let's go to Director General Eric Domingo. DG, tanong ko lang. So, you're saying you actually allow certain entities to stockpile up to about 1,000 doses, specifically hospitals. Paano yung commercial importer, kumbaga, or local distributor of those medicines that are not officially registered, they are on compassionate use basis, etc.?
Well, they cannot import unregistered drugs. They have to get permits from the from the FDA. So halimbawa
Yeah.
po, nagbigay kami ng compassionate special permit doon sa hospital, the hospital can use that to order from the importer. And that will be the importer will then get the authority to import those drugs.
Ayun, pasensya ka na kasi alam mo ko, linear ako mag-isip kung mag-i-import, ang dapat kumuha yung importer. Dito pala, the FDA allows the hospital, so the hospital will go to the importer, use the authority of the hospital to import the, kumbaga parang sequential ang kanilang order process. Okay, merong, palagay ko itong aking executive producer, si Arvic Tolentino, palagay ko siya ay nabakunahan ng Sputnik. Kasi kinukulit ako, pakitanong naman sir, worry ng mga na-vaccinate ng Sputnik V, wala pa silang second dose. Meron lumulutang yatang suggestion yung gamitin na lang yung AstraZeneca. What is the comment of the FDA on this situation?
Well, right now, talagang there's no evidence that will support the use of mix and match with the Sputnik vaccine. So nakipag-meeting nga po kami sa DOH at saka sa mga experts nila last week. At ang sabi namin, kailangan naman po pilitin nila yung kanilang importer, yung kanilang supplier na i-deliver yung second dose. Because really, this product is approved as a 2-dose vaccine na kailangan ibigay yung first dose ng Sputnik at yung second component niya. So sa ngayon po, hindi naman kasi nakakatakot yung medyo mahaba yung time interval between the first and the second dose. In fact, for so many vaccines, nakikita na the longer the interval, mas maganda yung ending mo na efficacy rate. Kaya lang yun pong paghahaluin, at this time, there's really no scientific evidence that would support this.
Okay, mabuti na lang nasabi ni Usec Malaya na tinatanggap naman yung Sinovac sa Europe. Kasi ang tanong ko rin, ako Sinovac ang vaccination ko, I was thinking that after December or maybe early next year, magpapavaccinate na lang ako ng Pfizer or Moderna. Yung bang after 6 months to 8 months, is it safe na to have a different vaccine or it still falls under the same concern?
Well, pareho tayo Cito. Ako din, I got Sinovac and I was one of the first ones to get it. So ako yung isa sa ako pinakaunang grupo na nakakompleto, and that was about 5 months ago.
Ang tawag sa'yo hindi DG, GP, guinea pig.
So, mga 5 buwan na ako. Kayo, less pa siguro, baka 4 months pa lang kayo from the second dose. And we've seen naman na hanggang 6 months, mataas pa naman yung protection rate niya. And tuloy-tuloy naman na inaaral natin yan kung kakailanganin ng mga boosters. So at this time, ang lang natin, hindi pa po kailangan. Unang-una, very early pa naman from our full vaccination, and the information is really not yet complete. Of course, possible naman na by next year, meron na tayong mga commercially available na mga vaccines na pwede yung mga fully registered na. So kung magkakaroon man ng extra vaccination like boosters or vaccination an annual, then yung mga 6 months to 1 year na interval, that would not be a problem.
Okay, going back to the Sputnik V, kasi baka putulan ako ng kuryente nitong aking executive producer, how long a delay is allowable? Kunyari, they got the first shot, how many months a delay for the second shot is allowable? Or kung wala, can they now go to another brand?
Well, yung experts natin, actually nakita na wala namang problem. Definitely hanggang 6 weeks. Yung 6 weeks na interval, wala pa naman pong, actually maganda naman kapag mabigay yung second dose. Pero yung ibang data shows na hanggang 90 days baka pumaari. The same as, for example, the AstraZeneca vaccine, which we now give after 12 weeks, kahit 12 weeks from the first dose. So wala naman set time yan, interval. But ako, I personally believe na wala naman pong na hintayin pa rin natin. For me, it would still be better to get the second dose na designed really to go with the first dose. Yun kasing Sputnik, Sito magkaiba yung first component sa second component eh. Hindi siya katulad ng ibang vaccine na it's exactly the same component. So ang sinasabi nila, kaya ang taas ng kanyang efficacy rate is that pinaprime ka with the first component, tapos yung second component mo, ibang vehicle yung ginagamit niya, kaya mas mataas na nagiging umaabot ng mga 94% at efficacy rate niya. Ganon yung design ng bakuna na ito. And I think it would be best to really wait for the second dose, which is a different component from the first.
Okay, well, I'll have to end it at that. Director General Eric Domingo, maraming salamat for your time and God bless you, sir. Okay, that's DG Eric Domingo of the Food and Drug Administration. Ako naman po, si Cito Beltran. Hope you learned a lot this morning and we will continue on this track of public information, social issues, sa kanila na yung politics. Thank you very much. God bless all of you.